It is said that in Japanese schools, staircases usually only have 12 steps. However, if delinquent students linger at school until nightfall, an elusive 13th step appears on the staircase. Those who witness this 13th step meet a chilling fate. They vanish without a trace. A tragic rumor once spread about a certain school in Japan, reputed to have the highest number of delinquent students. Almost every day, incidents of various sizes disrupting school discipline unfolded. From minor offenses like delinquent students openly smoking, to more serious incidents such as verbal altercations and physical assaults against teachers by students, the school faced a wide spectrum of disciplinary challenges. The school authorities have resigned themselves to the fact that these delinquent students show no signs of remorse, regardless of the punishment inflicted upon them. Expulsion remains the final resort, yet the school is hesitant due to the potential damage to its reputation from expelling too many students. Therefore, unless the offenses are egregious, the authorities opt to turn a blind eye in order to maintain peace. The school's attitude only serves to embolden many delinquent students, who become increasingly brazen within the school premises. With the belief that they won't face expulsion regardless of the severity of their mistakes, they are at most given demerits and verbal warnings. This, in turn, fosters their rebellious personalities. A group of delinquents, as usual, were extorting weaker students. Because it wasn't the first time, the victim had already informed his parents. Today, when he was being extorted, his father happened to be secretly watching over him. Thus, it can be said that the father caught the delinquents in the act of bullying his child. Enraged, the father rushed over to his child's side. Upon seeing an adult charging toward them, the delinquents scattered like birds. However, the father managed to catch one delinquent who couldn't escape in time. We refer to the delinquent student caught as Akira. Akira has a habit of carrying a small knife with him. In an attempt to break free, he drew his knife and stabbed at the father's arm before fleeing. He was identified, and with testimony from the extorted student, Akira was soon apprehended by the school authorities. Due to the severity of this violent incident, the father of the extorted student also pressed charges against Akira, forcing the issue to involve the police. With no other recourse, the principal reluctantly ordered Akira to be expelled. The act of violence resulting in expulsion made it impossible for Akira to find acceptance in schools across Japan. Faced with widespread disdain from others, Akira's mother, overwhelmed by the sense of alienation, tragically chose to end her life by hanging herself. Consumed by despair, Akira directed all his misfortune towards the school that expelled him. Driven by vengeance, he decided to orchestrate a plan to set the entire school on fire. However, on the night when Akira executed his plan, due to insufficient planning, he was quickly discovered by patrolling guards. Chased relentlessly, Akira could only desperately run upstairs. Just as he reached the stairwell on the 3rd floor, his foot missed a step, causing him to tumble down from the 12th level. His head struck the ground first, shattering his skull, and he died on the spot. The blood flowing from his body stained the stairwell crimson, creating the ghastly illusion of an additional step made of blood. The sight was horrifying beyond words. Following this incident, a school legend began to unfold. Afterward, there were frequent reports of delinquent students mysteriously disappearing from the school. Yet the reason behind these disappearances remained elusive. Just when everyone was at a loss for a solution, a student named Bunji came forward, claiming that he had also narrowly escaped being abducted. However, the abductor turned out to be a staircase. Like a survivor of a harrowing ordeal, Bunji trembled as he recounted his experience. The night before last, bored of heading straight home after school, Bunji lingered in the school stairwell with his delinquent friends, smoking and chatting. His friends, fearful of the rumors of disappearances, dared not stay at the school for too long and left before dark. Eventually, only Bunji remained, alone. As the evening descended, the bored Bunji sat on the stairs, contemplating life while smoking. He noticed that his cigarette had burned out and reluctantly decided it was time to leave school and head home. Just then, someone called out to him from behind. Turning around, Bunji saw a senior student with golden hair and a rebellious demeanor, wearing the uniform of the upperclassmen. Upon inquiry from the senior student, Bunji revealed that he didn't go home after school simply because he found ordinary life dull and sought excitement. Convinced that Bunji was one of their own, the senior student passed him a cigarette and invited him to join the delinquent student's paradise. Intrigued, Bunji expressed his interest to the senior student, who grinned in delight. The senior student then suggested that Bunji accompany him to the top floor of the school, where the paradise was located. Placing a hand on Bunji's shoulder, the senior student pushed him forward, leading the way up the stairs. As they reached the landing between the first and second floors, the senior student suddenly asked, "Do you know how many steps the school staircase has?" Taken aback by this unexpected question, Bunji stopped in confusion. Seeing him pause, the senior student pushed him forward with more force from behind and continued, "It's okay if you don't know. The school staircase has 12 steps."
But have you ever heard the rumor that an extra step appears at night?
At this moment, Bunji began to feel uneasy about the senior student behind him. His voice seemed to change, and the hand pushing him felt chilling. Fear began to creep into Bunji's mind. He wanted to stop and turn around, but his feet seemed to move on their own accord, allowing the senior student to continue pushing him forward. 1 step, 2 steps, 3 steps. As the senior student mentioned the 13 steps, Bunji began counting each step anxiously, fearing an extra one might appear. Soon, he reached the 8th step, and tears started streaming down his face as he saw 5 more steps ahead of him. The senior student spoke quietly. During the day, the staircase in the school has only 12 steps. But at night, a 13th step appears because it's formed by my blood. As he uttered these words, the senior student's voice had turned terrifying. Realizing that he was in grave danger, Bunji immediately took action. He grabbed the Buddhist amulet hanging from his chest and held it tightly in his hand as he swung backward. Suddenly, control over his feet returned, and Bunji swiftly turned around. Strangely, there was no one behind him, no senior student as he had perceived. Without hesitation, Bunji dashed downstairs, his heart pounding in his chest. As he fled, he glanced back at the 13th step, only to witness a horrifying scene. The step was covered in blood, and numerous hands reached out from it. Bunji felt as if he heard someone say,
"Come join us. This is our paradise."
After hearing Bunji's account, the school authorities were stunned because his description closely matched that of Akira, who had perished within the school premises. In order to protect the school's reputation, the principal issued a gag order, forbidding anyone who knew about Bunji's experience from disclosing any details to the outside world, regardless of the truth behind the incident. From then on, eerie legends about the 13th step began to circulate intermittently across various campuses. The 13th step came to symbolize the delinquent student's paradise, where blood covered everything. More delinquent youths would be invited into this paradise to play, but the price, of course, was their own blood. If you enjoy my channel, please help by hitting the subscribe button and turning on the notification bell so you won't miss my upcoming videos. Thank you for watching until the end, and I'll see you next time.